The Volkswagen Super Beetle, a classic reinvented. Host enters screen with a classic Super Beetle in the background. Host: Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a true icon of automotive history, the Volkswagen Super Beetle. You might know the classic Beetle, but the Super Beetle, that's where things get really interesting. Let's pop the hood on this cult classic and explore what made the Super Beetle different, better, and in some cases, more controversial. Introduction. The evolution of the Beetle. Host stands beside a vintage Beetle and Super Beetle. Host. The original Volkswagen Beetle was the people's car. Designed in the 1930s, mass-produced in the post-war era, and sold worldwide, it became one of the best-selling cars of all time. But by the late 1960s, it was clear, the Beetle needed an update. Enter the Super Beetle, launched in 1971. It looked similar at a glance, but under the surface, it was a whole new beast. Or, should we say, bug. What made it super? Cut to close-up shots of front suspension and curved windshield. Host. So, what makes a Super Beetle super? Well, it wasn't just marketing hype. The biggest change was the McPherson strut front suspension. This replaced the torsion bar setup in the standard Beetle. What did that mean? A smoother ride, more precise steering, and extra trunk space, especially important in a rear-engine car like this. And speaking of space, starting in 1973, the Super Beetle got a curved windshield and a redesigned dashboard. This gave the cabin a more modern look and feel, and actually provided a bit more headroom. Design and features over the years. Host walks around the car, pointing out design changes. Host. From 1971 to 1979, the Super Beetle saw a few visual and mechanical upgrades. In 71 and 72, it still looked a lot like the classic Beetle, with flat windshields and simple bumpers. By 1973, that curved windshield appeared, and energy-absorbing bumpers were added in 1974 to meet US safety standards. The interiors got more plush, with upgraded dash materials, better seats, and new climate controls. And yes, if you ever rode in a Super Beetle convertible, you know just how fun and stylish they were. Those remained in production all the way until 1979, even after the sedan version stopped being sold in the US. Performance and mechanics. Cut to engine bay and driving footage. Host. Under the hood. Well, technically in the back, you still had the air-cooled, flat-4 engine. Horsepower ranged from about 60 to 65 horsepower over the years. Not exactly a speed demon, but the Super Beetle wasn't about racing. It was about simplicity, reliability, and charm. The strut suspension made it more stable at highway speeds, which was one of the biggest complaints about the standard Beetle. So if you've ever driven a Super, you probably noticed it feels tighter, smoother, and just a bit more refined. The end of the line. Host in a garage with other classic cars. Host. By the late 70s, front-wheel drive hatchbacks were dominating the market, including VW's own Golf. The rear engine layout was outdated, and safety regulations were getting stricter. So, in 1979, Volkswagen stopped selling the Super Beetle in the United States. But its legacy lives on in collector communities, car shows, and garages around the world. Why the Super Beetle still matters. Host stands with a restored Super Beetle. Host. The Super Beetle may not get the same love as the original bug, but it deserves respect. It was Volkswagen's attempt to modernize a classic without losing its soul. Today, Super Beetles are a favorite for restoration projects. They're still affordable, parts are widely available, and they offer a nostalgic driving experience that's hard to match. Wrap up. Host. So, whether you're a longtime fan or just discovering the charm of the Super Beetle, one thing's for sure, this car is more than just a footnote in VW history. It's a symbol of innovation, resilience, and timeless design. Got a Super Beetle story of your own? Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another ride down automotive memory lane. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Host waves as music fades in and the screen shows images of classic Super Beetles. Would you like this script adapted into a teleprompter-friendly format? The Volkswagen Super Beetle, a classic reinvented. Host enters screen with a classic Super Beetle in the background. Host: Hey everyone.